Imagine winning a national championship, graduating from college, and undergoing open heart surgery all within the span of 2 weeks. For one Orcutt native, that journey was a reality. In this chapter of Chance's Champs, meet the epitome of a champion, Stevie Wisz.
And UCLA makes it an even dozen!
I truly believe that everything is meant to happen the way it happens, and it was how my life was supposed to go.
The success of a champion. It's not measured by wins, losses, or trophies. It's measured by heart. And it's there where Stevie Wisz's story begins.
At her one-year checkup, our pediatrician heard an irregular heartbeat. That same exact day, he sent us up to San Luis Obispo to see a pediatric cardiologist. That's where we learned that she had heart disease, and the whole whirlwind started.
Doctors diagnosed Stevie with aortic stenosis, the narrowing of the heart's aortic valve. It was news Melissa and Steve Wisz weren't ready for, especially after suffering family tragedy just a month and a half prior.
We had a son that passed away that was treated at the same place where we found out Stevie had heart disease. So hearing that we have to go through another round of heartache was super hard.
Stevie fought through her condition during childhood, needing checkups every 3 months. But in 2007, at the age of 9, Stevie underwent her first open heart surgery at the UCLA Medical Center.
I think just being so young and naive, I didn't really understand how big of a deal it was.
A year later, Stevie was rushed back to UCLA for an immediate pacemaker procedure after a 24-hour monitor showed scary signs of her heart slowing down.
It would stop for up to 9 seconds at a time while she's sleeping. So if you sit and count 9 seconds without a heartbeat.
Doctors advised Stevie to stop playing her favorite sport, soccer. It was just too much running for her heart to handle. But with the loss of one passion came the love for another.
I've always loved softball, and I loved how it's, both a team sport and an individual sport.
Stevie attended Righetti High School and roamed the outfield for the Warriors softball team. But life came to a halt the summer before her sophomore year when she had her second open heart surgery, this time to replace her aortic valve.
It took a toll on me mentally, just knowing that I would never be able to be the competitors they were physically just because of my heart.
It was a tough year, but this warrior recovered, and she helped guide Righetti to the 2013 CIF Championship.
I've never been so thankful in my life, and I'm so proud of everyone on this team, and they've been there for me through it all.
Life came full circle in the fall of 2015 when Stevie started college at the exact same place her life was saved 3 times before.
Yeah, I always knew that UCLA would be close to my heart, and I was meant to be there, whether it be for, my hospital visits or school or softball.
After a few months in Westwood, her heart was set on playing softball for the Bruins.
To hear the story of someone walking on at a school as prestigious as UCLA is pretty much unheard of.
I emailed the coaches several times, and it wasn't until like the 30th email they got back to me, and that's when I was given a tryout.
Stevie not only made the team, but became one of UCLA's primary pinch runners.
But what a play
And outfielders.
by Stevie Wisz!
Her time in the blue and gold flew by, and after 3 years, her heart seemed to be holding up just fine. But during a visit with a new doctor down the road at USC this past January, there were major concerns of Stevie playing her senior season and having surgery instead.
I was just like, look, I'm not gonna have it in a week. We're gonna compromise, and I'm gonna put it off until after my senior season unless something bad happens and I need to have it before.
Stevie agreed to dial back her participation, and as it turned out, postponing surgery was a championship decision.
And a 5-4 walk-off win for UCLA.
I couldn't hold back my tears. I was so happy, and it was just like in that moment when I realized all of our hard work and, everything leading up to that point had paid off.
Her story garnered national attention. She even threw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game to closer Kenley Jansen, who has also dealt with his own heart issues.
honored and thankful to meet him and his wife. They've been supporting me this whole time.
A few days after the championship, Stevie graduated with her degree in biology. But once the celebration ended, there was still one more base to clear before heading home.
I didn't cry at her graduation or anything because I think at that point I was already getting into survival mode.
It was hard, but just knowing that I was going to be okay and I was in the hands of the best doctors, I was able to manage my emotions.
On June 21st at USC, Stevie had her third successful open heart surgery. She's now recovering at her home in Orcutt, surrounded by those who have been by her side since the beginning.
I couldn't have gotten to the point where I am today without them. Being tight-knit and knowing everything's going to be okay got us through it.
The heart of a champion. It's not measured by wins, losses, or trophies. It's measured by heart. Just ask Stevie Wisz. So Stevie is at home. She's going to take a gap year between college and college. She wants to be a physician's assistant and give back to her community and give back to those who are going through the same journey that she has gone through since she was a little girl.